Hi, disciples, and welcome to Everyday Hope, your daily inspiration from the Word of God. Today I got my little helper, our newest to the James family, Callan. He's 9 months old. He's a cutie, huh? And he's going to help us today as we talk about abstinence. So as we talk about the 7 deadly sins, we've been talking about the 7 contrary virtues, and the opposite of gluttony is abstinence. And I think there's a lot to be said about that. So when I think about abstinence against gluttony, I think, why put yourself in the situation in the first place? Temptation usually comes from a door we let open in the first place. So, why put yourself in the situation? If you're going to close the door, leave it closed. Don't put yourself in temptation's way. So, what does the Bible say? So let's read from James chapter 1, verse 14. Temptation comes from our own desires, which entice us and drag us away. So it's our sin that drags us away from God. So we need to fight our desires and make war with our desire to sin. Not the sin itself, but even just our desire to do so. The closer we get to it, the more tempted we are. So let's abstain from even getting to the point of letting that door open. So if your struggle is the typical gluttony, if maybe it's eating, alright, don't put yourself in the temptation. If you go to the grocery store, avoid those aisles you gotta avoid. Don't stock your fridge with that stuff. Don't stock your pantry with that stuff. Maybe for you, it's something else. You know, maybe you like to overindulge in shopping, and your thing is to spend a lot of money. Well, don't put yourself in temptation by going to the store and saying you're going to buy one thing. Stay away from it completely. Avoid it. Now, I'm not saying that there's harm in, having a cheat day with your meals, or in going to the store to buy that one thing for yourself. But if it's something you struggle with, then stay away from it completely until you know that there's no longer temptation there, or that door no longer exists. So, one of the quotes I like is, "The devil knows your name, but calls you by your sin. God knows your sin, but calls you by name." Put your trust in Him, and know that when you put your faith, trust, and you set your eyes on God and His Word, it's going to take away that temptation and that desire for ungodly things. Because we're made new through God. Now, either the Bible is going to keep you from sinning, or you're going to let your sin keep you from the Bible. And that's the last thing we want. James 4:7 says, "Submit yourselves, therefore, to God. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you." That's a promise from God, that if we resist him, if we resist the devil, he will flee from us. If we put our focus and submit to God, man, that's just going to shut down the devil and his plans. And it's so hard to get caught up in sin. Walking around these days, it's hard. You have an example I saw from Francis Chan is hilarious. So he has a fishing pole in the audience, and he has a worm on it, a little gummy worm. And he goes, "Come on, who wants it? Who wants the gummy worm?" And the crowd laughs, like, "Oh, we don't want that." He goes, "Oh, okay. Well, the devil knows what your sin is, and maybe that's not your cup of tea, but he never gives up." So he puts a $100 bill on it, and he throws the fishing line into the audience. And he goes, "Now who wants it?" And now a couple people are grabbing the $100, and he goes, "See, now you're giving in to that gluttony for money. That's what you want now." He goes, "But even if that's not your sin, it's not just one thing anymore, is it?" And then he puts on this Thor hat, this round top hat he has on, and dangling from it, he has a nude Barbie doll, money, a Hot Wheels, and countless other things around the hat. And it's so easy just to walk around and get caught up on just wanting everything, wanting a nice car, lusting after women, this food, or money. And we have to really keep our eyes focused on God and not get caught up in what's in our peripheral, what the devil's trying to tempt us with now. Once we're made new creations in God, we really got to keep that focus. I think of John chapter 8, and there was a woman who was going to be stoned for adultering, and God says, Jesus says, whoever hasn't sinned may cast the first stone, and everybody drops their stones and leaves. But what I love that he says to her is once she realizes what he's done for her, and he says, does anyone condemn you? And she goes, no, they've all left, Master. He goes, neither do I condemn you. But here's what he says, it's so important. He says, go and sin no more. Go and sin no more. He says, now that you have seen the light, be done with that light. Be done with that temptation. Close that door and leave it closed. Sin no more. Focus on the light. So that's what I want us to do. To close those doors and not let them open again. To stay away from those things. Now, the very last thing I'm going to leave you guys with, and it's something that stands out in my heart so much, and was one of the first verses I fell in love with in the Bible ever in my life. It was one of the first. And it's this. You might know it well if you know the Bible. It's Ephesians chapter 6, verse 10. Tell them. I'm making a point, guys. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 10. Finally, be strong in the Lord and in his mighty power. Put on the full armor of God so that you can take your stand against the devil's schemes. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. Therefore, put on the full armor of God, so that when that day of evil comes, you may be able to stand your ground, and after you have done everything, to stand. Stand firm then. Sorry, buddy. With the belt of truth buckled around your waist, with the breastplate of righteousness in place, and with your feet fitted with the readiness that comes from the gospel of peace. In addition to all this, take up the shield of faith, with which you can extinguish all the flaming arrows of the evil one. Take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God, and pray in the Spirit on all occasions with all kinds of prayers and requests. With this in mind, be alert and always keep on praying for all the saints. Pray also for me, that whenever I open my mouth, words may be given to me, so that I will fearlessly make known the mystery of the gospel, for which I am an ambassador in chains. Pray that I may declare it fearlessly as I should. So take heart to that, guys. Be strong and put on the full armor of God, the full armor of our faith, and then we can stand firm against the schemes of the devil. I believe that, and I take heart in that. And how do I equip myself? I equip it with the teachings of God. I equip it with time in the closet in prayer. I equip it with strong, godly men and women around me that I trust to keep me on the straight and narrow path. I do it by breaking down my walls of pride and letting people in on my struggles and what's pulling me away from God. And I'm honest with myself. So, do those things. Wear the full armor and build up your walls against the devil and his schemes. Don't let temptation in, and abstain from doing things that we know that we shouldn't. Thanks for joining us, you guys, and we really appreciate it. Please like, comment, and share this video so you get the word out there to others who need hope every day and encouragement, just like we do, to keep on the straight and narrow path and stay focused on God. And as always, never lose hope. You don't know what tomorrow may bring. We'll see you guys tomorrow. You say bye? Say bye-bye. Oh.